Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today's a special winter edition. We are talking truck preparation, plow truck preparation, and just basic general winter storm maintenance and preparation that I do. So I really like this Prestone Ice Fighter spray. Whenever I know I have a large snowstorm or ice storm coming, I will pre-spray all of my driving windows and mirrors and along the doorway itself. That way the door doesn't freeze shut when you first try and open it. I always raise up my windshield wipers. Sorry, blanked there for a minute. I check all the fluids and lights on the truck. So I do that with all of the vehicles each time we have a snowstorm. You can hear in the background the generator. We just had a few negative temperature nights and I wanted to make sure she was okay, and we've got a few more negative temperature nights, high winds and snow and ice coming. So I'm doing another test start and 15-minute run of her, even though I just did one. I think it was October, but it's pretty close to New Year's right now, so I try and do it at least once a quarter. That doesn't always happen. Hi, you. Are you loving the snow and the cold? Yeah? Alright, so that's what I do for truck maintenance. Yeah, you can come with. Now, plow maintenance, I haven't gone through this with you guys yet because I just haven't had a chance to. So this is a Fisher Minute Mount 2. This is the HD2 version, and normally you don't need to do much. You mount it up, it's a pain in the butt. You hook it up, that's a pain in the butt, and she typically works for most of the time. The only real general maintenance you need to do is make sure that a mouse doesn't get in that during the summer. During the winter I'm using it too much for mice to really get in there, but during the summer I have to keep an eye on that so a mouse doesn't go in there and shred everything. You're supposed to drain this and change the fluid annually. So how you do that is you have a little drain right here which pops out, drains this, and you can crack the hoses to fully drain the hoses, and then you fill right here. This specific model takes about 1.5 quarts to fully fill, and that's the proper way to drain it. The improper way to drain it, which I did this year, is I accidentally pinched that hydraulic hose right there and sprayed it everywhere. That's why you see blue all over the place, because I drained it wrong. Don't do that. But that's why we have spares. So I have a spare hose which I was able to put on, spare fluid which I was able to refill, reprime. So this is a really easy prime. You don't have to bleed it if you don't want to, but you have to work it and work the air bubbles out. So it's back and forth, letting it jitter a little bit, letting her bubble, and then coming back out, rechecking the level. The level should be right about here. Just if you take this off, you should just see it so it doesn't flop out. But you have to work it back and forth, up and down, back and forth, up and down, check it, and repeat that process a half a dozen to a dozen times to make sure that you've got all the air out. Oh, I'm sorry, did I stop petting you? Somebody's a little snuggle bug today. So that is the basic maintenance of the plow. Now, 2 or 3 main things that I have noticed with this plow setup is, oh yes, you are so adorable, so adorable, is I have had the controller go bad itself. Now these are not inexpensive, these are $500, $600 just for the controllers. I have had those go bad. Oh yes, hi big girl. The other thing that will go bad is, hang on, let me pop the hood. easier with two hands. And it's easier to pop the hood when you got, oh, today's special. How about you again? There it is. Okay. There you go. There you go. Don't worry, you're waterproof. So the other thing, I'll walk around half a dozen more times before I figure this out, is this black cable goes to this black cable, which is the primary ground on this truck. And you will, if you aren't getting any response, one of the first things you should always check is your ground. So you can take it apart here, get an ohm meter, clamp it on your ground here, check it here. That'll tell you if that connection's good. Connect it there. The next connection is right here. Once you've tested it there, it's good. Connect it, test the ground here. Once you've got that, it's good. And then you can take the controller apart and check the ground in there. That sometimes will be your problem if you have a bad connection or a ground. And then the third, and what happened to me this time, so now I have a spare controller, because what happened last time was it was the control itself that went bad, is this cable right here. Is the key on power cable. So that means when the key is off, the power is off to the plow so you don't drain your batteries. What had happened was this was just wired in here and spliced down into where one of these mini fuses were. Well, this spring, one of these mini relays, I don't remember which one, died, and I couldn't figure it out. So I brought it down to the maintenance shop. They figured out which one it was. They were not allowed to order it for some reason. They had to go to the dealership, so I had it brought to the dealership so it could be looked at and fixed. They found out which one it was, replaced it. In the meantime, they took this out and gave me a new cover and returned the truck to factory settings in the fuse box. That was a expensive day, partially because this fuse is like $600, or this relay is $600. And they took this out, capped it, and tucked it way out of the way so I couldn't even find it. So it took me about 6 hours of hunting through this thing to find this. And now I've put it back in with a splice. So this is going, I forgot what exactly that was going to, 43 engine. So it's just basically engine is allowed to turn on. So the lower fuse is going to the engine, this top fuse is going to the plow. And hopefully they don't take it apart this time, because that was a number of hours. So that's some quick things to check if you have this style plow, and quick winter maintenance tips. If you're not getting any response from the controller, first check your ground, second check your power to the controller and your key on to the controller, because I was getting full power to the controller, it just wasn't turning on, and that was this issue. Other than that, just check your hoses, go through them. All 3 hoses on this are approximately the same length and same pressure, so I just have one spare. Anytime one of them goes, replace it with the spare, replace it with the fluid, or replace the fluid, get it working again, get out of the storm, immediately go down whenever I get as soon as possible, get a replacement, put it back on the shelf or back in the truck with the tools to replace it and the spares. That way you're not stuck in a snowbank overnight. It's a 5-minute process if you have the right tools and right equipment. Otherwise you're stuck in a snowbank. So I hope that was helpful for you. I've got, again, the battery tender on here. I Don't know what that was. Just a spare ground. Okay. I've got the battery tender on here. Every once in a while I throw that on if I'm not going to use the truck for a while, or if I know I'm going long distance, I'll go through. And I've already just gone through engine oil, power steering, transmission fluid, brake fluid, windshield washer fluid, check the batteries, check the air filters, just the belt. Just go through anything that you can that you think could go wrong, or if you're going to go on a long trip, it's a very similar scenario. And I have a few spare fuses as well, just in case. So any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them in the comments section. I hope you guys are enjoying this snow and cold, and we're finally having some nice winters around here again. Stay safe and warm.